What's up, YouTube? What's up, Xtreme Gainz family? I'm Chuck. This is Xtreme Gainz. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. Please do not take it as such. Today is Wednesday, June 1st, 2022, and this is my Amc Gme and SPY Algo exposed daily update and preparation video for tomorrow and beyond. As always, I hope you had a great day in the market today, and I hope you were able to take advantage of the downside today, heavy, and make some extreme gains for yourselves. I'm going to go over all the regulars, my snake algo for all three tickers, and some macro comparatives. So with that said, let's dig in. Real quick, here's some extreme gains from my scalp ideas today. I had 120%, 100%, 450%, 280%, a 70%, and a 60%. Landed big once again, and I hope you were able to do something similar for yourselves. All right, let's dig into the charts. On your screen currently is AMC and my intra-week snake. AMC finished the day down 10.67%. down an additional 0.55, currently in after hours, trading at $12.74. I talked to you all in last night's video about a potential divergence from this for one of two reasons, and or both. One was yesterday was its fifth day of fulfillment of this projection, and it's an intra-week snake for a reason. And two, because they typically interchange on Tuesdays, and that sequencing of interchanging gets thrown off. Previously, it had gotten thrown off when we had a holiday land on a trading day where the markets were closed. And that's what happened this week. And we didn't divert from it yesterday. So I did mention that in last night's video. And that is exactly what happened today as it diverted to the downside. So you guys know the drill. The day of, the day prior to is what I clipped for the potential next new intra-week snake. So the day prior to looks like this with a 1 day overlap, meaning today overlapped for projection and fulfillment purposes. Moving forward, if price action follows this one, that is what I am essentially looking at or looking for from this as it being the next potential intra-week snake. Then the day of is this one. Again, a 1 day overlap, meaning today, all of today's projection and fulfillment 100%. And moving forward, that is what that one looks like. Obviously, there is a difference between the two of them, quite drastically. I do believe it's going to be pretty easy to determine which one it will be with some more price action showing which one it is choosing. So that is what I am looking at moving forward from an intra-week snake perspective. I will clip the unfulfilled tail off of this tonight, so tomorrow night's video, that will no longer be on there because there's no need for it moving forward. All right, the macro comparatives for AMC, and I have a new one that I want to show you here. I did a little bit of nosing around today. As a matter of fact, something caught my eye during my premium private live stream today, and I put it together and showed premium, and I'm going to show you guys a potential new macro comparative. So the bearish scenario that I was using was the previous bottom from right next door in this mirrored position, and I explained that and showed it to you last night for context. Go check that out. It projected and fulfilled this downside, and that is exactly what happened today, this downside. Now there's two ways of looking at it: compressed like this or a little more extended and drawn out, which would obviously bring that bottom down a little bit lower. I'm not concerned with this tail end down here. I already have it marked where I think if we get a lower bottom, where it could potentially be. And that is how I showed it in the video last night. And it literally almost candle for candle fulfilled that projection today with that downside move. So moving forward with this bearish scenario macro comparative, this is what I would be looking for going into tomorrow and beyond if it continues to fulfill in that manner. Then let me show you the new one. Actually, I'll save that for last. The macro double from the macro descending wedge prior to the January 2021 run-up, right? Here's the January run-up. I talked last night to you about this consolidation that the macro comparative shows right here, potentially being right here. Obviously, we have diverted from that. Now, this could be a potential invert mirroring from this, and I've learned this in the past, not to jump real quick at the first sign of a diversion, especially on macro when it comes to something that has the integrity of ongoing projection and fulfillment for as long as this one does. So I'm going to leave it hanging for the time being, but yes, we have diverted from that currently to the downside. So there's not much more to say about that one at this time anyways. Then what I really want to show you that's really, really interesting, I talked to you all and have shown you GME and how GME is following its previous double bottom in this giant macro double, a W here, a W here, a double in the middle, a double and a double and a double inside of a giant W, right? I just call it a double. It's a shit ton of W's. I call it a macro double. So anyways, I'm using that in this way, and I have used the previous bottom on GME, and I started looking at this one after this diversion and rejection off of that now to the downside, and started looking at the previous bottom to see if there was any relevance to the entire thing rather than just this one piece. And what I came up with is this, and it's pretty interesting. This is, let me zoom out so you can see it, the entire previous bottom. If you take them both like this, and you take the left one and you flip it over onto the right one, that's exactly what I've done here. They are in the flipped position, both of them. This gives 100% projection and fulfillment throughout. Somebody say, oh, that's not projection fulfillment. You guys already know. That's an inverted mirror. I can take that clip. I'll contrast color for you. I'll mirror it and flip it, an inverted mirroring, and I'll put it on the projection. I've explained this before in previous videos as well. What I call an inverted mirror is when a projection from a macro comparative or an intra-week snake or an intraday snake shows one thing, price action goes the opposite, but it fulfills the exact candle for candle movement just at an opposite level. Either if it's projecting upside, it does it downside. If it's projecting downside, it does it upside. So that's what this is here. Other than that, this is essentially almost candle for candle throughout. And that is what it looks like. It has projected all of this and fulfilled all of this thus far. Moving forward, this is what it looks like. If you zoom out, I have already charted in. This has been in here. You've known this. You've seen this every day in the videos. I have a macro third pull here. This is a lower macro third. I put a bottom in here as we have descending bottoms, and I have my descending reverse macro third pull to the downside here, indicating where the potential bottom level would be and the range of the move up if that bottom would be fulfilled between the two thirds, the macro reverse descending and the normal ascending macro third. And this ironically lands itself dead on the downside level and dead on the upside level, literally where X marks the spot between the two thirds. So that is what it would look like, and it would complete the larger macro double that I just showed you. The W here, the W here, and the large W here before the next move up. So that is what I am looking at. I'm really excited about this one. I don't know if it's a false sense of hope or if it's legitimate yet, but from what I see, it is looking really good with its projection and fulfillment. And obviously, if it continues to fulfill, it's just going to continuously build up that confidence in it, looking at it moving forward. So that is what I am looking at from AMC in its entirety with the snakes and the macro comparatives. All right, GME, the current intra-week snakes. There's two of them because we just diverted from this yesterday to the downside. Again, day of and day prior to. So here is the one. You get projection and fulfillment. This is similar to the one for AMC. These are actually identical to AMC's, essentially. Here's AMC's new two new potential intra-week snakes. And here are GME's two new potential intra-week snakes. Very, very similar. One shows consolidation, midline consolidation. One shows an ascending level of consolidation to the upside. This one here, back up to the macro third on GME. Not so much with AMC's, but that is what I'm looking at with both of these. GME finished the day down 2.68%. It had earnings today that were released after market closed. It shot up 9% and got raked right back down. It's currently up 0.91% at 122.50 right now. Both of these intra-week snakes projected that upside move, that 9% upside move right where it happened. Here is the consolidative one that did there. Here is the ascending one that did there. So that is what I am looking at moving forward with the intra-week snakes for GME. The macro comparative for GME, as I stated, is from the previous bottom. GME is potentially in one of these giant macro double-doubles. This is a giant box top setup with a W here. It's a double, double, and a W. And then potentially another replication of that, a double, and then potentially a double and a W inside of a giant W. I call it a double-double. It's just the easiest way to call it that. I know there's a lot of new people watching the video, so I want to make sure I define a couple of these terms that I use. All right, using that in two different ways. One in a mirrored way, which is on the screen currently, and that is like this. The indication from it is upside, continuation upside, starting what looks to be tomorrow. The straight up version is like this. The projection and indication from it looks to be upside as well. Then pullback, consolidation before coming down into that second bottom. Very similar to the new one that I just showed you on AMC. Very similar. So that is what I'm looking at with GME in its entirety. SPY, the current intra-week snake. I talked to you in last night's video about this peak right here of the snake being put in already or potentially needing put in, dependent upon price action today. I said if it rejected and went downside, that would indicate to me that this peak has potentially already been put in. That is what we got today. SPY ended the day down 0.81%. I don't know what it is in after hours. We just closed up the market, and I don't have it up on my phone. Anyways, down 0.81% in regular trading hours at 409.59. It projected and fulfilled that projection to the downside today. The projection moving forward from that, and the indication is continuation to downside with some consolidation and volatility, and what looks and appears to be a W formation before a bounce, and then a move back upside according to this current intra-week snake in this position. The macro comparative for SPY is from the 08-09 correction and crash. This is what I've been tracking forever. I have called this the extended version. And in this position, I have also told you all that this has never been a candle for candle. It's been a projected suggested path. And all my expectation from this has been and was, since we got down in here, was some sort of consolidation and volatility and put this round top formation in prior to breaking this to the downside. However, and it has done that. However, I did get a little bit granular with it in last night's video where I showed it to you like this and said that if this thing were to reject and come back downside and eventually put in this W formation, back up, reject what looks to be about the 415 and then go back downside, that would fulfill this macro comparative to the downside. But getting a little granular with it in those candle movements here on the 4 hour, that is what fulfilled today to some extent. The projection from that would be continuation to downside. However, like I said, that's not my expectation from it. I just want to see volatility and consolidation until we get out here to make this next macro move to the downside if it were to continue to fulfill this thing in that manner moving forward. So that is what I am looking at with SPY's intra-week snake and SPY's macro comparative and everything in its entirety. AMC, GME, and SPY. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you very much. I appreciate it greatly. Good luck in tomorrow's market. I will get an update and prep video out tomorrow night, just like this one, after market closed. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your night. Make some extreme gains tomorrow, y'all. I'll talk to you in the update video tomorrow night. Later.